Well, as someone that doesn't root for the Patriots, I love this news, Jenna. So that, I think, answers the question for you. Please, Bill, please go with the Hoyer Stidham two-headed monster. Let's see how that works out. Let's see what you can spin into gold there instead of doing what it would take to get a 30-year-old former league MVP on your roster. Now, the Patriots, your beloved Patriots Wilds, are in an odd position for a couple of reasons. One, for the first time in 20 years, they don't have their quarterback situation settled. But two, for the first time in nearly 20 years, they also are in a really bad cap position. They've got over $20 million in dead money on their cap, which is a situation they never find themselves in. $14 million of that, of course, is Tom Brady, but a couple million's Antonio Brown, a couple million is Michael Bennett, and then there's a few other guys that round out to where it gets like $22 million. And they've got 3 offensive linemen making 8 figures a year, $10 million plus. Their secondary takes up 30% of their salary cap in 2020, with Stephon Gilmore making nearly $20 million bucks. So the Pats, we laughed at the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs, by the way, let me remind you, for only having $200 of cap space. The Pats don't have much more. The Patriots only have around $2 million in cap space. So if they did want to go after Cam Newton Wilds, they would have to borrow from the future and rework some deals. So, yeah, I think it's a mistake. I understand why they're not doing it, Kevin. And as a Chiefs fan, it delights me that this is the path they're on.
Yeah, I didn't like a lot of what I just heard because a lot of it made sense, unfortunately, Nick. So I'm just going to say whatever we need to do financially to get Cam on the team, we should do it. And here's why. Sometimes life is confusing. But you know what? Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes your first reaction is the right one. Malcolm Gladwell made a ton of money off the book Blink for this. So should the Patriots get Cam Newton? Yes. Cam Newton is 30 years old. The best is yet to come. You know who else the Patriots got when he was 30 years old? Randy Moss. Randy Moss's last year in Oakland, he had 42 catches, a little 500 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Then he comes to New England. Should we get Randy Moss? Of course we should get Randy Moss. Comes to New England, 98 receptions, almost 1,500 yards, and 23 touchdowns. So if we can make the money work, I feel like Cam is a no-brainer. We've got the best is yet to come with Cam. We haven't seen the best, and he already won an MVP. So, Bill, I trust in you, don't get me wrong, but Jenna, I really, really, really want to make the money work and have Cam in a Patriots uniform.
Oh, but you don't trust in Bill. You kind of trust in him, but you kind of don't.
I do.
Shouldn't we assume that Bill Belichick has a plan? He's always had a plan. Has anyone argued that he isn't the best coach, NFL coach of all time? There's something that he's got up his sleeve that he seems to know that the rest of us don't. But let me just ask you, you think they're making a mistake by not going after Cam?
You know, Jenna, I do think that they're making a mistake by not going after Cam, because what is there to lose if you do go after Cam? Yes, everything that Nick said, totally understand that, and he is absolutely correct. But you can find a way to make it work. Teams have always found a way to make money work if they want to acquire talent that they don't have. And when you look at Cam Newton, he provides that spark right away. Now, Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer, they're seeing a lot more of them than we have ever saw of them. And so they know where their progression is, specifically Stidham, who they're saying is they're going to be their number one guy. But I just don't think that – I can't say Bill Belichick does not know what he's doing. But what I can say is this is uncharted waters for Bill Belichick. He's been really good at acquiring other free agents for different positions, whether it be on the defensive side of the ball or skill guys or just plucking guys from other organizations and inserting them into theirs and making them play. Well, for the first time in his New England stint, he's having to plug in at the quarterback position. And we saw his notes. We see how important he and the value that he puts at that position. He gets this wrong and nothing that he has planned works. And so I can see him erring on the side of caution and his why. but I don't agree with it.
Such a good point, Greg. So much line on this decision for Bill Belichick to make the right one here, especially since everyone's going to compare it to who just left. Jarrett Stidham's thrown 4 passes. One of those passes was a pick 6. He doesn't have any touchdowns. He doesn't have any starts. Does this mean, though, Nick, let me ask Nick first, are the Patriots locked in on Stidham Hoyer as the heir apparent to Tom Brady?
Well, right now, I mean, those are the guys on the roster along with Cody Kessler. And I understand Pat fans might say, once upon a time, a 6th-round pick who didn't play or barely played at all his rookie season came in year 2 and turned into Tom Brady. That is a true story. It is also close to a fairy tale story because it never happens other than the one time it did. Here's a list for you. Since Tom Brady, so we're talking about over 20 years, every single quarterback drafted in the 4th round or later, here is your top 3. Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, David Garrard. The 3rd best 4th round or later quarterback drafted in the last 20 years is David Garrard. You simply don't find franchise guys in the late rounds of the draft. I know people will be like, Montana was a 3rd and Russell Wilson was a 3rd. And Drew Brees was a 2nd. You occasionally find franchise guys after the 1st round in the 2nd or 3rd. But once you get to the 4th round or beyond, the quarterbacks you draft there, we have a name for them. They're called backups. Jarrett Stidham is a backup quarterback who might be forced to become a starting quarterback. Again, 3 most successful 4th round or later picks post Tom Brady. Dak, who's been a wild success story. Kirk Cousins has been a wild success story. And then you get to the David Garrard, Matt Castle level careers. And those are the best of them. Not listing the dozens who didn't make it to their 2nd contract, Wilds. I'd be incredibly anxious if I were you as a Patriots fan, not about your ability to win the division, because maybe the defense does that, but about your ability to actually have a real live quarterback on your roster.
Well, I'm trying to find silver linings. Here's what I'm grasping onto. Jalen Hurts, the Nick Saban-Belichick connection, that's something. Then I'm like, I guess I'll just fall in love with Stidham. When can I get the Stidham jerseys? But then I saw this tweet that Mike Reese, I was pretty much on the Stidham train. I saw this, Mike Reese sent a tweet out the other day, and it was a quote from Matthew Slater. And it said, Cam is going to lead us. I feel great. And I looked at my phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, it happened. I can't believe it. We're good. And he was talking about Joe Judge's replacement, Cam McCord. So I was like, I guess I haven't emotionally let go of the Cam Newton hope. That's where I wanted. This is it. I know Cam is up for the challenge. I was like, oh my God. And it was an emotional roller coaster there for me, Jenna. So look, I still trust in Bill Belichick, but my faith is wavering a little bit.
Wilds, every day is an emotional roller coaster for you. I got to be honest.
Great.
I feel bad. Greg, quickly, we have a little bit of time left before we got to go to break. You think something's going to happen here, or at this point, should we all be set on Stidham Hoyer as where the Patriots are heading?
I'm still hopeful that something happens for Cam's sake and for the Patriots' sake. And I get it. Once you've acquired a guy, whether they're in the 4th round or whatever, you really have to try to make it work. You owe it not only to your scouting department, but to your fans to see, is this the guy? And Jenna, you made a great point. You said Tom Brady leaving puts a lot of pressure on Bill Belichick to get this one right. It's not so much about the winning. It's the play at that position. Can Bill Belichick get this right? Because if he gets this right, we know he's done it. Everything else is already set. So this is the only puzzle piece that if he inserts correctly, he will be right back where he left off. And the culture is already set, and they can continue to succeed and potentially hoist a Lombardi trophy in the near future. But if you're wrong and you go out and grab a Cam or a Jameis or whomever else, then you look really bad at letting Tom Brady walk out the door. And so I think that's why Bill Belichick is like, you know what? I'm going to play the cards that I have in my hand and let the chips fall where they may.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.